Welcome to another edition of the Jarrod Thomas Show podcast. And judging from the literal tens of people that reached out over the last time that we did this, and you know, Jacob, you didn't tell me that my caller was him. Anyway, we're going to trudge on. We're going to soldier on. We're going to muscle through it all. Wardrobe malfunction be damned. We're going to do a talk. We're going to do another one of these. Jacob has two topics in front of me.
You can pick one. It's yours to pick.
This one says serious. This one says fun. Why can't I do them both?
You can if you want to. It's up to you. I want to give you free will. I don't want to make this like I'm forcing you to do something.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about how you decided between serious and fun. Who'd you talk to? How'd you come up with these?
Talk to nobody.
Beautiful. Love it.
I came up with them with my own brain power.
Okay, I'm a little scared now.
From what I've heard, one's about, educational stuff. I have family members in the education. My mother's an educator. And I've been hearing on the radio and things like this all about education. So the serious one is about education and kids today. Okay. And the fun one is just a personal kind of endeavor of mine, as I'm a big movie guy, I do. Okay. So why don't we do this? And by the way, we did a couple of these. I'd like to try to burn these in a little bit. So we do a few of these, and we're going to do guests, and we're going to do other things. In fact, we may be adding more content. Yes.
To the Jarrod Thomas Show YouTube channel.
We're getting
podcast YouTube channel.
Too far. We just people are asking for it.
Shouldn't we shorten that up some? The Jarrod Thomas podcast, the Jarrod Thomas Show podcast.
I mean, why mess with perfection? I mean, people know who you are. They know it's a podcast. What else do you need?
Perfection, huh? All right. So we'll start with the serious topic.
Okay.
Moving forward, though, we might want to type. I mean, this is...
It's a little long.
I mean, it's not bad for a Jarrod.
I do my best.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
It was the second try.
That's awesome. All right. So the serious topic this time around on the Jarrod Thomas Show podcast is this. Behavior issues in schools are on the rise. More and more students are disrupting classrooms, leaving teachers having to waste their time and energy on getting rid to calm down or focus on getting them out of the classroom so they don't hurt themselves or others. Are these behavior issues due to parents just caring how their kids act, or is it general priorities to blame, or is it more and more children having access to devices with the interest in social media available? Why do you think this is such a problem? What can we do to fix it? So I was having this conversation with Noah Chalaya the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jacob, you're quite a bit, in fact, you're young enough to be my son.
It's true.
Right? So when I grew up, as I was sharing with Noah, now I'm not here to say that this was the exact right way to do anything. But when I went to grade school at Crestwood Elementary in East Grand Forks, Minnesota, in the 4th grade, I had a teacher named Mrs. Tollefson. Across the hallway was a teacher named Mr. Stouse. And Mr. Stouse went on to become mayor. Mr. Stouse went on to help run, and his family still owns, a pretty successful management company in town of property. Okay? And they also build, and they're very, very successful people. Mr. Stouse, Lynn Stouse, was more of the, by today's standards would be called corporal punishment. In the hallway, this is how I remember it. It may have been in his classroom, but this is how I remember it. I'm 52, so 4th grade was a long time ago, so please. He hung a paddle that had holes in it out in the hallway and was very clear that if you misbehaved, he wasn't going to be afraid to use the paddle. We all knew the rules. Mr. Stouse, Lynn, went to great lengths to explain to us that this was going to be the way that we were going to do things. I would have been in the 4th grade. How old are you in 4th grade? 10?
Yeah, 10.
Okay, so that would have been 1983, 84, somewhere in that time frame. So 1983, 84, things, of course, were a lot different than they are today. I never once received the paddle, but I respected the paddle. I respected Mr. Stouse to the point to where Mr. Stouse, I believed him when he said, if you misbehave at a certain level or do a certain level of things, you can expect that you're going to get the paddle. Mrs. Tolfson wasn't that kind of teacher, more grandmotherly. Very good, both very good teachers, by the way. So that I mean, obviously. So they were very good people, very good teachers. They wanted what was best for kids. They worked hard to help kids. All of that is absolutely true. I had a wonderful education in East Grand Forks, Minnesota. That is not the issue. But the behavioral standards were set, and then they were adhered to. Now, again, I don't care to necessarily have a lot, and through the years on the radio, I had thousands of conversations about disciplining children and so on and so forth. But here's what I found to be universally true. If I say to Jacob, even Jacob grows up in a completely different time, Jacob comes along at a completely, and he's in a school system up in the Roseau area that is completely different than anywhere else. There's probably more remnants of what I just described left in Roseau than there would be of a, now, Jacob, we've talked about your A behavior, your B behavior, and your C behavior. How do you think you're performing today, Jacob?
Yeah. It was,
I'm having a C day.
yeah.
Right? So, and I'm not here to say that both can't work. However, what I've witnessed and what I've seen leads me down the path of, yeah, kids today, it's hard to be a kid today. I think, unfortunately, and every time I go to a restaurant and I see a kid in a high chair being parented by a cell phone that's got Bluey or something else on it for them to stare at, I think the part of that we miss is because really all we want is one meal in peace. And parents want to be able to interact with another adult human being, so during that time, they want the child just to sit there, be seen, not heard.
Yep.
But I think the part that we miss is that kid doesn't learn how to interact.
Yeah.
That kid doesn't learn how to behave in public. That kid doesn't learn proper decorum, doesn't learn how to properly be around other people, doesn't learn to say, yes, please, thank you, doesn't learn how to shake a stranger's hand when mom and dad are around. Those are the lessons that I think you don't learn when you ask an iPad or a cellular device to raise your child.
Yep.
That's where it starts. By the time the school system gets them, they're already behind the eight ball.
Yeah.
They are inheriting, as I like to say, other people's problems all day long. It is a race to the bottom every single day. They're hired to teach kids something, whether it's math, whether it's an elementary school kid, that's different, of course. And then all those kids come with their inherent set of problems. Roll with me here for a second, but much like Major League Baseball has become specialized, I believe we've become too specialized as well in the school systems. We want to put people in certain spaces and in certain lines or columns so that we think we know the best way to work with them. Because if Jacob has a behavioral problem and I can identify the behavioral problem, I can put together an IEP and then I can help to work towards that. I can't tell you the amount of times in my life I heard the phrase, Jarrod just doesn't live up to his potential. He just doesn't want to learn. It's not that I couldn't want to learn. It's not that I didn't want to learn. I didn't like school. So I was a shithead, simply put.
Yep.
That was dealt with in a couple of different ways. Growing up in the house of Tom, it was dealt with swiftly. And it was dealt with quickly. And you were reminded often that this behavior won't be tolerated. At the school level, I think the big sea change is as follows. I remember I got in trouble one time in elementary school, and Mr. Dale Taylor at the time was my principal. And I got called down to the office late in the day. And again, this is how I remember it. I was sitting in the office, and that was unnerving enough as a third, fourth, whatever, however old I was. And all of a sudden, my dad shows up. Now, my dad, at the time, was an over-the-road truck driver. And he was what you think he was. Didn't have time for a lot of nonsense. Worked hard for every dollar he ever made. Didn't have time for his kid to misbehaving at elementary school. My dad looks similar to me. Lucky guy. 6'2", 200 and, 70, 80, 90 pounds. Big guy. Got a bit of an edge to him. Doesn't really care for tomfoolery and skullduggery. And I remember that day, the part that I would be curious about is if kids have similar days like I'm describing. Because if you don't, I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because what happened was the behavior changed.
Yeah.
Right? So my dad comes in. Mr. Taylor explains to him what the problem was. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I'm sure I was goofing off or wasn't doing anything productive. And I'll never forget when my father looked at Mr. Taylor and said, "You have permission and my full support to do whatever you need to do to get this child to behave." And I was like, "Hey, what now?" Yeah. This will not happen again. Jarrod and I will go home and we will discuss this. Meaning I will do a lot of listening while my father tells me very loudly how this will go going forward. But my dad and my mom, they cared. And that's not to say parents today don't care, but what I think we care about matters. I can't tell you, man. Cell phones are the worst invention in the history of the world.
Oh, I agree.
They are well-intended, like so many things are. Of course, they do some good. Of course, they do the things that the maker of them says that they will do. Of course, all of that is true. But smartphone is really kind of an oxymoron for what they really are, which is making us a whole hell of a lot dumber.
Yep.
I'm on LinkedIn. Look me up. And the University of North Dakota Communications Department did what we used to call a man on the streets bit. And the man on the streets bit was, here's this young lady. She's walking around with, I'm getting into your territory now, what appears to be a lapel microphone. And she's walking up to random students, and she's got another person there who's holding a camera of some sort, probably an iPhone for all I know. But anyway, and the question is, hey, will you go into your phone and tell me how long you've been on your phone in the last week? So for those that don't know, your cellular device will keep track of how much time you spend on your phone. Your cellular device also keeps track of all the other crap that you're doing. Yep. You care about that or you don't. But any movement that you make is being tracked and recorded somewhere. So this young lady's walking around, and here's two young ladies, look like they're heading to class or the union or wherever they're heading. And she walks up and very unassumingly with this person with the camera and says, "Hey, I have a quick question for you. Can you tell me how many hours or how much time you spent last week on your cellular phone?" And so, interesting, the first two girls knew exactly where to look.
Yep, screen time.
Screen time. Knew exactly where to look. First girl goes, looks like I spent 6 hours a day on average on my cell phone. The other girl looks at her phone and says, looks like I spent 7.5 hours per day last week on my cell phone. I'm sitting there horrified.
It's a long time.
7 hours? If you sleep anywhere from 7 to 9, that puts you between 14 and 16 hours of your day is already gone.
Yep.
Okay? That means you have 8 hours of your day left to talk to others, to go to class, to work a part-time job, to go to a hockey game or football game or whatever your jam is, or go over to somebody's house and say, hey, whatever it is. My God, what is on that phone that you're staring at for 7 hours? Now, let's say for 7 hours that you've got 2 hours of what most people would consider to be legitimate business.
Yep.
Now you're only on there 5 hours. Facebook, Instagram. Sorry, I named an old person's app. I'm sorry, Jacob. Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp. I mean, all these different apps and 9 that we haven't heard of yet that the kids are all over that us old timers will have no idea.
Yep.
But that's where they're spending a majority of their time. Take a picture of me living my best life and posting it for the world to see, because my highlight reel is much more important, because if I don't look cool to strangers, I don't look cool. So this young lady moves on. 7 hours wasn't the largest amount of time.
Yeah.
She walks up to this girl, and it's interesting to me. In her little man on the street bit, it seemed like dudes spent a lot less. Now, it's a small sample size, so don't hold me to this. But dudes seem to have, they're almost bothered by it. It's almost like so much of things through time, they have their cell phones so girls can get a hold of them. Right? I mean, that's kind of
as far as college goes. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, that's kind of how it felt, right?
Yep.
It's like, I got a cell phone because I know that the girl I want to date or hook up with, or I'm dating or I'm hooking up with, has one, so I need to have one too. So I walk up to this dude and he's like, where do I find it now? And so the girl shows him and he's like, 2 hours and 5 minutes. But an hour of that's because I play a game.
Yes.
That was it, right?
Yep.
And he's like, his buddies call, or, they agree to meet at their favorite restaurant later in the day. Because it's what's interesting to me is dudes are still dudes.
Yep.
That's not to say there's not dudes out there that aren't spending a ton of time on their phones. But this was the one that, I mean, it stopped me dead. She walks over, this young lady, again, man on the street. The question is, how much time per day do you spend on your phone on average? And there's this girl that she walks over to she's on her phone as she walks over to her.
Yep.
So she interrupts her. The girl looks up somewhat stunned and like she's deathly afraid of people. So she says, hey, can I ask you a question? Scared of her shadow, obviously. She looks at this girl with the lapel mic and says, I guess. Hey, I just have one question for you. I'm just wondering, how many hours a day, on average, do you spend on your cellular device? So she knew right where to go. She looks at her phone. Last week, I was on my phone 13 hours and 1 minute a day.
Like the whole sun is in the sky time.
So while some of that is funny and some of that's like, oh my God, some of that should trouble all of us.
Yeah.
Because the addiction is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's making us, last time we did this, we talked about AI.
Yep.
And you know where AI gets all of its information? From 13 hour and 1 minute gal.
Yeah.
You know where it also gets it? From you and I and everybody else that's on the interwebs.
Yep.
And maybe that's okay, but it also leads to behavioral issues that are different than behavioral issues that we've ever had before. So back to the school and back to teachers and back to what they can do. So we've made a promise to the world, certainly in this area of the world, that everybody gets an education. Yep. You get one. You show up, we're going to educate you. Teachers are superheroes. Make no mistake about it. Teachers are also bound by rules that in some cases are a bit archaic. I giggle a little bit because there's a rule. It's a law in the state of North Dakota where you show up for class, buddy, you got to turn in your cell phone. Turn it in. We'll give it back to you at the end of the day.
Yep.
Okay. But what I understand to be happening is not exactly that, because the teachers didn't really ever believe it to be a problem.
Yep.
Most teachers would tell you that the good teachers figure out a way to take that device that's glued to your hand and turn it into a way that you can use it to learn. So while some will ask you to put these things away, others are like, no, just put it away.
Yeah.
We don't have to go through the rigmarole, putting it in the box or the bag or whatever it is they got going.
Keep it in your pocket.
Keep it in your pocket. Don't look at it. You don't look at it. I don't catch you looking at it. We'll be good. My classroom, Governor Armstrong isn't walking through that door anytime soon, so we're good. But I think that the laws and the times have to catch up. We have to get to a place where we empower teachers again to handle children that choose to misbehave or that misbehave for a myriad of circumstances. I think we have to recognize and acknowledge that not every kid comes from the most pleasurable situation. Not every child comes from a space that is got two parents that are hardworking, that sit down with them at night, that say, hey, how was your day? Tell me about what's going on with your friends. Let's see what you have tonight for homework. And then they sit down and they painstakingly go through every single problem, every single sentence, every single spelling word, depending on where your kid's at in school. Some of that can matter. And quite frankly, and you learn, that's just such a small snapshot period of time. I mean, they don't want you around so quick.
Yeah.
I would be honored if my daughter would ask me again to sit down and help her with homework. She never did, though. She asked my wife a lot, but I never got asked. That's kind of strange. I should ask her about that one day.
I wonder why. I mean, I can't think of a reason why you asked mom instead of dad. But
me either. I'm flummoxed just like you are, Jacob.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, until parents support teachers, till administrators support teachers, and I do believe there has to be a pendulum shift of sorts that allows teachers to be, you don't need to be their parent, but you do need to be a figure in their life that shows them that there's other authority in your life, and that while you're here, you're going to behave this way.
Yep.
This isn't your home. You're a guest in mine. Sit down, shut up, and open your book.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we're anywhere close to that. Again, we're in a just an unbelievable time of change, and I think most people are doing their level best to figure it out.
Yep.
But sending kids out of the classroom, sending them into specialized classes, sending them into padded rooms, which I understand to be a thing. I'm not sure. And some kids have real legit
problems,
real legit issues and problems. Those kids need, and those aren't necessarily the kids that I'm talking about.
No.
So let's be clear before this gets obliterated all over. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about the kids that show up that were like a young JT that showed up that just chose to be a knucklehead that day.
Yep.
And the teachers spend the rest of their hour chasing JT around because, well, they don't have Tom Spohr in the background saying, hey, don't be afraid to, hit that kid across the head with an eraser.
Yep.
He responds to that because he's that stupid. He's that knuckle-dragging Neanderthalish that if you hit him in the back of the head with an eraser, you know what he'll do? He'll behave. He'll get it.
He'll get the picture.
Yeah. So go ahead. You don't have to tell me you did it.
Yeah. And that seems to be the problem. And what I'm seeing and hearing and reading about in the paper and stuff is there's not just one JT in the classroom anymore. It's rows. There's 5 kids, and then all day long you're trying to get these 5 kids to behave, and then the 4 other kids that are there to actually learn barely get taught.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is when's the last time that you left the internet? Let's say it was just a night of wasting time and doom scrolling for old Jacob.
Okay.
And you felt good about it. Like you're like, wow. I mean, that was amazing. I mean, I have to do more of this. This is just like, when I woke up this morning, I thought, I'm going to get up, I'm going to shower, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to get my family off. I'm going to do all that.
Yep.
I'm going to come to work. I mean, I got a few things I got to get done today, but man, I cannot wait to get back to my phone so I can scroll the day away.
Pretty far and few between. I mean, I've gotten into the rabbit hole, of course. Who hasn't? But as we'll talk about, I'm more of a movie guy.
Well, right.
It's just I see the problem, and I like when you brought up the restaurants thing. I've been out and I've seen a million toddlers with an iPad at a restaurant, and then they wonder when that iPad battery dies why that kid's going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't know how to act in any social scene ever.
Yeah. And the kid believes that you took something from him.
Yeah.
So the child doesn't understand initially that this is like a treat, or this is something that you get to do.
Yeah.
Or the other thing is, we had a rule in our house, certainly growing up, Maggie lived under this rule too, that we don't turn devices on when we eat.
Yeah.
We don't. TVs, phones are, if they're at the table, which I'm not a fan of. It's a little bit like when you come to a sales meeting, Jacob, and people bring a laptop. I'm the same guy, only I'm at home.
Yep.
There's no use for them. We're in a meeting.
Yep.
So let's have the meeting. It's the same thing at home. If we're going to have a meal together, then we're going to have a meal together. That means something to me. We're going to have a conversation. If the phone rings, it's nothing that can't wait until we're done eating.
Yeah.
And I think when you go out and, oh, by the way, you're spending 20, 25, 30 bucks a head. Okay, so we got a little investment involved here. So now I'm just going to tell you to scroll your phone, and then inevitably it's going to ding or buzz or do something, and then you feel like, well, I got to answer it. No, you don't. You don't.
No.
I understand that clinically, I mean, I'm not going to get this right, and I'm not a doctor by any stretch of anything, but there's a little shot of dopamine that goes through your veins, and what's really been happening is that we've all become dopamine addicts, that we have to feel like we're constantly getting a big shot of dopamine, or life just isn't worth living, apparently. That
People can't be bored anymore.
Right. And if you're not bored, or if you're bored, then you must be a loser.
Yeah.
And it couldn't be farther from the truth. I put my phone on the charger the other night and it still had 92% battery. And my wife looked at me like, how is that possible? And I said, well, I sent you a text. It looks like at 2:00, and it looks like I sent Maggie a text at about 5:30. Other than that, if the radio station's burning down, I guess they would have called, but
no one called.
Nobody called. So I guess the radio station's still standing and I'm good. And,
Yep.
The people that we work with respected our time today. So we're good. She's like, I can't believe that. 8% of battery all day long. I don't understand why we're talking about this, but yeah, I mean, that was the end and long and the short of it. So I believe devices are the main culprit. I think it's just, there's nothing good that I've seen that comes from these things.
No.
As a guy who has a cell phone bill that'll rival anybody's, once you put my kid on there and my mother-in-law, and I mean, if you'd like to be on it, just call me. I mean, what the hell's one more phone at this point? So we've conditioned ourselves that we have to have them. We must have them. Got to get them. Got to do it. Got to. When the complete opposite is true. And again, this just makes me old, and it makes you feel old. I take some solace in knowing, though, that there seems to be, and psychologists and psychiatrists are reporting that there seems to be more than a little burnout that's coming in your generation and the generation after.
Yeah.
As saying that social media just isn't where it's at anymore, that they value experiences more than anything.
Yep.
Show me a mountain, or take me on a cruise, or take me to a place of the earth that I wouldn't normally get to. I want to experience that.
Yep.
They're more humanitarian. So this is the good side of what's coming out of the generations that are coming. They're very, very wired and helping people and want to be a positive part of the experience, of the human experience. And they're not afraid to live with less so that others can have more. These things are absolutely being proven true as well. They're also finding value in things that we've discarded. Think landline phones.
Yeah.
Getting rid of
the kitchen phone.
Yep.
Is a new trend in my generation of young parents that's coming back. They're making cases where the charger is locked into it. You can't unplug it. So it's a landline phone. It's a smartphone, and there are people even saying, like, yeah, they can download a game on there. They want to play whatever game. They have an Instagram. So they're not losing, but it's chained to an 8-foot cord in the kitchen. Wow, it's a weird concept people came up with. I don't know where they got that.
Yeah, the landline, was, and I could tell stories for days, and most anybody over the age of, I suppose, 40 could tell you stories of days where I would come home from, name the practice depending on the time of the year, and I'd walk in the house and there would be little white sticky notes all over the kitchen counter from Jarrod, call Hearn. Jarrod, don't forget. Jarrod, make sure you go to your grandma's and mow the yard. Jarrod, don't forget that. That's how we communicated, and it seemed to work just fine.
Yep.
When I got home, I called you back. Or if I ran into you before then, I didn't have to call you back.
Yep.
Right? Oftentimes I come home, my buddies would be sitting in the basement of my house. Hey guys, what's going on? That's just how we did it. I mean, you had to have human contact, or you had to have a human face to face, or you never saw your friends.
Yep.
And I got people in my life that will tell you that, yeah, I mean, this cell phone, we're friends differently. We snap each other all day, so it's just like talking. Yeah, it's not though.
No,
it's not though.
People think I'm weird. You
wife, are weird.
When I am, but my wife would be like, I love to call people or FaceTime them, and she's like, why are you FaceTiming them at 9:30? I'm like, because I don't want to snap 30 minutes back and forth when I need to talk to them for something for 6 minutes.
Yeah, and that's like my parents. I mean, they have smartphones, yeah. And they only have smartphones because at the time they couldn't get less than flip phones or whatever. So they have smartphones. Occasionally, I'll get a text from my mom. My name is spelled wrong. There's words missing. My mom sort of kind of figured out how to use voice to text. So I thoroughly believe my mother knows how to spell my name.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so there's some generational gaps there. But the phone number that I've had my entire life is still in play. 40 plus years of a phone number is still, and they'll never give it up and still take 90% of their calls on that one phone.
Yep.
But until I don't know. I think I know. It doesn't appear we're going backwards. But I do think that, like everything else, this is a bit of a moment in time. Will the behavior get better? Will the teachers adjust? Will some of these very kids that they're having trouble with end up being teachers? I hope so.
Yeah.
If not, we're going to have trouble finding teachers. But teachers are superheroes that are in an impossible situation that every day when they wake up, they have to go to work and they have to handle other people's problems all day. And just imagine, most of these people are void of reason. The brains aren't developed. And I'm dealing with a problem that I'm trained on the periphery to handle, but it's not really been the whole basis of my education.
Yeah.
I'm here to teach you how to get from second grade to third grade.
Yeah.
You're in second grade and you still don't know how to use the bathroom. My God, why am I here?
Yeah.
Right?
And that's a real issue. There are real kids in second grade that don't know. And
that's frightening and a failure on the part of whatever that parent structure looks like. But part of it, a small part of it maybe, I would put back on the districts to say, when a kid shows up like that, that kid goes home and doesn't come back. What often happens is that kid goes home and comes back and is allowed to come back.
Yep.
And the teacher sends them home again, and then they're back again. And then what the parent learns is, if I just send them long enough, they'll just quit sending them home. And eventually one day my kid will come home potty trained because the teacher finally said, okay, here's the deal. And that, we can't have that. They got to go home and they got to stay home. And there should be consequences of some significance for when that happens. All right. Fun.
Let's get to the fun one. This one is just like my personal and just ideology behind it. A lot of deep thoughts, JT.
Have limited series and 4-part Netflix specials ruined movies? Why are there less and less big blockbuster films coming out only in theaters anymore? What are your thoughts on streaming services at home versus the movie theater experience? So this will surprise you not at all, likely. I am a movie theater guy. Love the experience. I love leaving the house. I love the theater. I love River City Cinema over in East Grand Forks. I think does a tremendous job.
They have such good popcorn.
Oh my! I mean, the late Bob Moore.
I don't know if they actually sell any smaller sizes than the XL, but I would like to see somebody with a small one because I don't get it. Butter
it in the middle of that. Oh, it's good. Go ahead and refill it too, by the way. The great Bob Moore. I mean, was just a visionary guy. He took a mall that was struggling in East Side, the Riverwalk Center, and bought it and then turned it into what you see now. Is just, I think it's a pretty great story of an entrepreneur that just wouldn't be denied. Has small theaters and maybe still does.
Yeah, there are smaller ones.
Yeah, he passed, but he had them in his thing for a while was smaller towns.
Yep.
And he put a theater there because he knew that smaller towns struggled to keep theaters. And so he was the guy that said, "Oh, I think I got a way to make money and to do this." And so he told me once, and these numbers are old, so please don't hold me to any of this. He told me once, he said, listen, because I asked him one time when he was on the radio with me, I said, so how do you know when an 8-plex can become a 12-plex or 12-plex to 16 and so on? He said, well, here's the deal. I don't put a movie on unless I can make $1,500 per showing. Now, what he didn't tell me was like, how much is it? What's the licensing fee on a movie?
Yeah.
So I don't have any of those numbers. And I don't know if that's still true. Those figures have likely changed because there was no COVID then. So all of that has likely changed. But it gives you a little bit of a window into what happens in that industry and what happens for him, who would be considered the end user. But to answer some of your questions directly, there's a couple of things that I think are going on. We're getting to the point where we're running out of things to create a documentary for. In fact, last night, like most everybody else, and again, we could tie this into our previous topic quite easily, I have 10, $11.99 a month streaming services, just like most everybody else does.
I have not 80% of them.
And so last night, I'm not a Chiefs guy, not a Bills guy. I'm a little tired of the Chiefs in prime time. Just wasn't feeling it. After a big Viking win, I was just like, nah.
Yep.
Right? So I go to the streaming services. And I'm looking for things, and it was worse than flipping channels. Netflix, So I go over to HBO Max. Can't watch Euphoria with my wife here, so I moved on to something else. I go to Paramount Plus.
I got that after 2 seconds. I was like, what's wrong? Oh, never mind. I've seen Euphoria. Yep.
I go to Paramount Plus. God bless Sydney Sweeney. I go to Paramount Plus, and I go to Peacock, and we watch the Dateline that recorded the night before. I love it there because there's no commercials. We pay the extra whatever. That's a bit of a scam too, but I pay it so that I don't have to deal with the commercials, which is interesting because my entire adult life has been paid for by commercial revenue. So we watch that. I go over to 48 Hours, and I literally have a physical reaction that 48 Hours wasn't there. And then I go to 2020, and the Murdaugh murders were, well, I've seen everything on the Murdaugh murder. So that was like a little bit of a layup.
Yep.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yep.
Then my wife reminds me, well, Hulu has a series coming out, a scripted series about the Murdaughs.
Yep.
And so there's likely a way to kind of cross-promote that because they had Patricia Arquette and some guy named Jason Clarke who's playing Alex Murdaugh in the, so I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So now we're cross-promoting, which makes some sense, but did I have to sit through an hour and 24 minutes of it so that you could cross-promote the scripted series you have coming up? Apparently I did.
Yep.
And the worst part is I did. It's watering things down, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
The big complaint that I've always had about Hollywood, I shouldn't say always had about Hollywood, certainly in the last 20, 25 years, is that they've been void of a good idea. We take some of the superhero movies, which I know you're a fan of.
Well, there's, I think we're on Marvel movie like 34.
So we keep going to the same well.
Yeah.
Right? I was watching a little, speaking of documentaries the other day, about how movies are made these days and how they've almost completely, they don't really go anywhere anymore.
No.
It's all done on a green screen.
Yeah, they have a giant room that's all green or all blue, and they just act with nothing around them.
Right. And so they're not going to Montana anymore to catch the mountains. They're typing in Montana mountains into whatever, you would know better than I what kind of program they
Stock
use.
footage, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a picture of them. Okay, so that's the background, and then bear comes running out of woods, and here comes the bear running towards the actor. The actor feigns a reaction.
Disney has one now that it's a giant LED screen, and it will move as they're walking on a giant treadmill. So that instead of going to Montana and walking through a trail along a river, some guy in a video goes out there and films it all, and then they have the actor just walk on a giant treadmill as the screen moves by them.
So I think that's That's the first thing. I think what gets people fired up about shows like think Landman, think Yellowstone, is that they're very well written, and it's something that people feel like they can relate to. Now, I don't know anymore if they're actually in Texas in the oil fields and if they're actually shooting these out in the hot Texas sun, or if it's just, I mean, I could find out, but really when I sit down, all I want to do is get lost in it. Theaters, I think, have an additional issue because it seemed what they did was they lowered the price of a ticket, but they increased the price of the snacks.
Yep.
So now I can get in for $6, $7, $8 or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's cheap to get it there.
But that box of popcorn or that bucket of popcorn that you referenced is now $12.
Yep.
You know how much popcorn you could go to your favorite local grocer and purchase for $12?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit. So I think that the business model got a little bit altered or tilted because the idea, I suppose, is, hey, we'll charge you almost nothing to get through the door. But it's like it's like going to a hockey game a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, if you want that soda, you can have it.
Yeah.
But you're going to pay for it.
Yep.
And so I think that that's a mode of survival. But I think Hollywood has lost the other issue that Hollywood has loosely, maybe more than loosely, depending on the time of year and depending on what's going on, is that Hollywood got politically active. And those that don't agree with that particular point of view have a tendency to say, well, fine, then I won't go watch your movies anymore.
Yeah.
And then without the money, you can't. I saw The Rock did a movie.
The Smashing Machine?
The Smashing Machine.
I've yet to see it. I wanted to go see it.
That absolutely laid an egg.
Yeah.
It cost like $103 million to make, which sounds like a lot, but really isn't apparently in the world of movie making.
Yep.
But it debuted at like $3.5 million at the box office.
Oh, that's nothing.
Like just absolute crap.
Yeah.
Like you and I and nobody else saw it. That's what those numbers say.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. But the other thing that Hollywood and streaming services have done is that it very quickly moves from the theater to the streaming services.
Yep.
So what the consumer has learned, I'll just wait. Like my wife wants to see Wicked for Good. That's the latest, apparently. Big fan of Wicked, big fan of the dancing. She's a big fan of the musical part of it. Big fan, big fan, big fan. And so now the promos have started.
It's coming out end of the year, I think.
Yep. And so she sees the promos and she gets all geeked up for it. Now that's something that we'll go to the theater for because she believes, and I don't disagree with her, she believes that the theater experience for something like that is just better.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yep, that the sound is better, the picture is going to be better, it's going to be better on a big. How big do you think that screen is? A couple 100 inches.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's just going to be better. So she will watch Wicked for Good in a theater. And she won't miss it. I mean, I believe she put it in her calendar.
Oh yeah, I've already bought tickets.
Well, and see, so that's another thing, right?
Yeah.
So you can go to Fandango, is it?
Yeah.
And other places, and you can buy tickets, and that helps the theater, I suppose, gives them an idea what demand is. And Wicked for Good might demand 3 theaters when other shows might only demand 1.
Yep.
But then you're able to accommodate everybody. You don't have to turn everybody away. And most everybody that shows up that day will already have their tickets in hand.
Yep.
So I think I worry about theaters. Theaters took a big kick to the temple during COVID.
Yeah.
Because, as you might recall, we weren't supposed to gather or hold hands or really talk to each other or do anything.
Yeah.
So, no, I think Netflix, and pick your favorite streaming service or pick them all, are watering down what we're used to.
Yep.
Hollywood is lacking in creativity. Hollywood has gotten a little too political for most. Certainly, flyover states or Middle America is like, what in the actual hell?
Yeah, I want to watch a movie for fun, entertainment, not to get a message about why.
You go there for an escape, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most people go to a movie, so for 2.5 hours, they can sit down and drool out of one side of their mouth. They can have a few handfuls of popcorn, have a soda, let the worries melt away.
Yep.
And then have a bit of an experience along the way. When that's tainted or tarnished with that particular actor is on my small screen talking about how the president's a chucklehead and what are we doing? How could we ever put somebody like this in the White House?
Yeah.
And on and on and on and on and on and on. I don't want to watch your movies.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean they can't have an opinion. Doesn't mean that they can't share their opinion.
Yep.
However, when you do that, you should also expect that people are going to go away.
Yeah.
And they're not going to want to watch your films anymore. Jennifer Lawrence, who is a fantastic actress, in my opinion, said recently she was asked about her political leanings and she just looked at the guy asking the interview and she just said, I, of course, have an opinion and I, of course, have a political leaning. But what I'm learning is that people don't want to hear it. People aren't going out and voting for the people that celebrities tell them to vote for.
Yep.
It's probably better if I just keep that to myself. And that was, again, back to growing up. That was something that was taught in the house of Tom. I mean, you go over to Grandma and Grandpa's house, we're not talking about religion or politics.
Yep. Don't bring it up.
Talk about anything else.
Yep.
Don't talk about religion or politics. Talk about Auntie Julie's job promotion. You can talk about Uncle Danny's work. All those things are on the table. You talk about the Vikings. You can talk about the Packers. Talk about any of that stuff. But religion and politics, don't go near it. And if I hear you talking about it, well, I'm a dumb kid. What am I going to, what am I going to have to add to a conversation, right?
Yep.
And so wars have been started over a difference in politics. And I might argue we're in a bit of one now, internally in the United States of America, because we can't seem to get it figured out. We're living in a time where we're going to likely see the longest government shutdown in the history of the world, or the history of the United States anyway. And we're just supposed to, the president comes over the top and says the Senate should use the nuclear option. The Senate says, okay, that's nice, Donnie, but just sit down. So I don't know. It's scary times. What's your next favorite movie coming out?
I mean, Wicked 2, the part 2 is going to be really good. I really enjoyed it. And I never seen the musical, never heard about it. My wife's family, they saw it on Broadway. They're huge fans. So that's why I got brought into it. And halfway through the movie, I was like, well, I guess I'm coming back. So the new Avatar, Born in Fire, those are always good. James Cameron, he's a genius. And then there's another Marvel movie coming out in the spring. Of course, I'll go see that. But I would like to see some, I haven't been, excited for a movie since, the Robert Pattinson The Batman. And that one came out, no one knew anything about it. There hasn't been, it was an original idea. It was a different, the same character, but different kind of, it was more dark and mysterious and a mystery film. There hasn't been a movie where I'm I need to go see that now. Every time I see a movie trailer and I follow all the things so I can see them, I'm like, well, I'll just wait till that comes out because it doesn't look as good.
It's been maybe this happens, but I've been in radio for 1,000 years, and anytime that there was a hot movie coming out, they would do the release at midnight.
Yep. In Rosa, we had one theater, one screen, and they would have one at midnight on Thursday night that you could go see it. And the big ones I'm only 25 years old, and I've seen it through my lifetime. I used to movie theater. We'd go once a week because there'd be the next big movie coming out. There'd be one every week. There'd be a new movie, and now it's there's Hulu original, Disney Plus. There's a Netflix series. I hate the series. Let's make a movie. I don't need 4 one-hour segments.
I think that's probably related to, I think what they found is that you're more inclined to binge watch a series than you are to sit down and watch a movie.
That baffles me.
It would baffle me too, but I think it gets into the psychology of people. If people think that I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch all 237 episodes of Friends, and that's going to take me 18 hours over 2 days.
Yeah.
Or would I rather watch one 4-hour Friends movie?
Me, I'd watch the movie.
Well, of course. To me, I'd watch the movie.
we're weird. So.
But again, back to some of the differences between generations and between men and women. There's some thought that the women amongst us would be more inclined to sit down and want to watch every episode of Friends, even though Friends has been around since 1994, and most everybody has seen every episode at least once.
Yeah.
It's what we watch before we go to bed every night, even though we've seen every episode.
My parents have it. They have that. They rotate. So it's How I Met Your Mother, Seinfeld, and Friends.
Yeah.
Those three shows.
Again, back to me being around 1,000 years. Thursday nights on NBC used to be biblical.
Oh, yeah.
You did not move. You started watching at 7, especially when... And there's something to be said for that way of releasing content into the world. I mean, not everything we used to do is completely wrong either.
No.
This whole idea that we got to get it done and get it to you, I mean, it's okay. I mean, if you're just now going to release pictures of your wedding, Jacob, that's okay. We didn't need to see them 17 seconds after you said I do.
No.
You and your wife are allowed to come home, get settled. You know, when you get to it, you get to it.
Yep.
Even if you want to release them at all, maybe it's just a private thing between you two, and you're not gonna. And we need to learn that that's okay too.
Yeah. But
we don't do things that way anymore. I think there's a lot of growing pains with this. I think a lot of this is going to change as we go on. I think what you're going to see, because I do believe too that this content is stupidly expensive to make. You're going to see some of these Paramount Pluses and Netflix. They're going to have to pull back. You just can't. I mean, you see some of the numbers that they're paying some of these actors to be part of these, and you just, oh my God. I saw it the other day. Matthew McConaughey interested. He said, "Well, I'd be interested in doing another season of True Detective." What do you think it cost to get Matthew McConaughey to do another season of True Detective?
I don't feel like anyone can afford him to do anything.
Well, so again, he's not going to work for free.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like then your prices go up. So now you're, instead of paying $11.99, you're paying $14.99. Wow, I mean, you got $3, right? That's what you spent on soda today. So what the hell? And you find $3 someplace, and then it doesn't affect you until the consumer says, I think I'm good. My wife got rid of Discovery ID, and with it went Naked and Afraid. I was like, "What are you doing to me?" She's like, "I don't understand why you like that show." I said, "The idea that these people
got nothing.
It's just you in a bag, and whatever's in the bag, and some chucklehead you presumably have never met, and now you're just in some African safari someplace, and for 30, 40 days, whatever it is, you got to survive. That doesn't interest you?"
I love the show Alone.
But Ice Road Truckers does?
Yeah. I was never an Ice Road Truckers guy. The Alone, that's my favorite.
Did you see this? I think it was Alone, where literally the guy built a shelter. He set up some traps, and he set up what do they call that line they put out for fish?
Oh, like a snag line.
A snag line.
A gill net.
Gill net. That's what it is. He put out a gill net, and he literally checked his traps, checked the gill net, and slept and won the competition.
Yep. I've seen every season of it. It's the best show ever.
He didn't
go out there.
He didn't meander the land.
Nope.
He didn't, and he caught a fish here and he caught a fish there, and the thing how hungry you got to get to eat a mouse.
Yeah, that's pretty hungry.
I mean, how
like a smushed mouse.
How void of protein do you have to be where you're gutting up a mouse and you're I mean, that's probably when I'm picking up the old satellite phone saying, "Hey, I think we've done all we can do here."
We could do a whole episode on that show. We probably should. What would be JT's 10 items to survive? But the people that call it after like 2 days, they're like, "Oh, I miss my family." I'm like, "It's been a weekend." If I quit, my wife would beat me up when I got home.
There was an episode where there was a guy, and he was looking for a place to build a shelter. So it's really early in the competition. Like, he gets dropped off, and he's got the camera, and he's like, "Well, here we go. Been training for this. got this. Let's go. So I'm like, all right, cool. So he's looking around. And, they always look to the sky because they don't want a branch to fall and kill them, the widowmaker branches and all those things. So you learn a few things when you're watching. And so he's looking for all these things. And he's got a knife or whatever. And so he's busy kind of getting some brush together and doing the things you do to put and all of a sudden he hears something off in the distance. And he looks at the camera and he goes, I don't know what that is, but it's big. So he goes back to cutting whatever. And you hear the noise again.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Daylight. I mean, there's always reason to be afraid, I guess. But,
sure.
You're but the animal sees you. It's going to be equally as scared of you as you are of it. And unless you do something to put it on alert, it's likely going to turn tail and run the other way. Now, that's not true for every animal.
Nope.
And I'm not an animal expert, so do not take that advice as wholeheartedly. But generally speaking, he reached for the satellite phone and tapped out.
Yep. It's probably like a grouse or a squirrel making a mess in the woods, in the leaves.
So they get there, and the first thing they do is they send a medic to the guy. And he's like, what's wrong?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you guys put me in a bad spot. I mean, there's something big over there in the woods. And the medic's like, there's something big in the woods. Well, what'd you think we were doing here? Where'd you think we were going? I mean, this is called Alone. And
you're in the wilderness of Alaska.
Yeah. You're in some Vancouver Island or some remote of the remote of the remote. These animals haven't seen anything but other animals
their entire life. Yeah.
So they're generally curious. They got a new smell going. They got new everything going. And all of a sudden, they're just coming to check you out, and you completely turtled and left. I'm fascinated by the human condition and what makes people do the things that they do. Oh, yeah. And so that's why I watch shows like that. But 10 items to survive, they always skip over like the container for water.
Yeah.
They skip over that. You got to have something to kill things.
Yep.
You have to. Right?
We'll do our next one of these. Will be a JT's 10 items. I'll give you some time to think about it.
I have to give that some thought. Some of it will be standard, like you gotta have something to make fire. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yep.
You should have a weapon of some sort, a knife or the old. I always like the homemade bow and arrows too. So I can't bring a normal one because the homemade one would just give me a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's
hard enough.
Yeah, if there's a lion boring down on me, I would like to think that thing's going to work. I don't need my craftsmanship to throw it all askew. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So no, that's an interesting topic, but yeah. So more than anything though, I would say love your children. Teach them discipline and make sure that you follow through on whatever consequence you put out there. Because when you don't, and you know what? The parents oftentimes are the ones to blame. If my kid is a shithead, that's on me. But we don't think about it that way. Yep. And that's unfortunate. The devices can wait. Trust me. You got kids in college that are staring at their phones for 13 hours a day.
Yeah, that's rough.
The average was near 7 hours a day. 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's a work day of staring at your phone.
Now I'm curious.
And then we wonder why we have behavioral issues. 7 hours a day. I'm
okay.
Where are you at?
I'm at 4. Not great. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But
I was at 1 hour and 52 minutes last week.
Yeah.
But again, that's probably makes sense. And I was also trying to wrap up a golf season, so I was doing that as much as I possibly could. So I'm generally on my phone a little more than that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm, the 92% day was an anomaly. It's not normal.
No.
And if I go to the bathroom and sit down, it's going to be longer.
Now I'm wondering what am I doing?
But if you analyze it, there'll be something in there that'll horrify you. Now, part of what we pay you to do is mess around on that thing too. So there's that.
That I am on our Facebooks and our stuff, and
So you're
okay. My top 3 are Facebook. Well, number 1 is Instagram, which
makes sense.
Then it's YouTube, which to be fair, I watch YouTube on my phone every day at lunch. and then Facebook, and then I have an editing and photos.
Well, I mean, that's essentially
That's part of the job.
that's exactly what I'd be alarmed if that wasn't in the top 3. That'd be a little shocking.
I'm surprised it's not higher, though. I feel like I'm on my phone a lot.
Well, you know that hour you spend at lunch watching YouTube? Probably. I mean, I'm sure you, because I see how your workflow is, right? You get halfway through a project. Hey, Jacob, can you come here for a minute? Oh, okay. Yep. And then you're gone for 2 hours. And then you come back, and then it's 10 minutes. And then,
sure.
Hey, can we talk to you on that thing? And then you go back again. So, anyway, how was it? Was it okay?
I'd say it's a A-.
A-?
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Okay.
answered my questions.
Well, that's.
I mean, I don't know about the viewers,
I mean,
but you answered mine.
I don't hate this. I like this actually quite a bit. And so I'm working on booking some guests. I'm going to try to get columnist Rob Port on. Rob and I go back a few years. He also has a podcast called Plain Talk. So I'm going to reach out to him and see if I can't get him to come on. I want to visit with him about some things that are going on at the state level and beyond. He's also a columnist in your newspaper. And I want to get his take on a lot of different things that Rob writes about and is a kind of a man about the state. So I'm working on getting him on, and then there's always a local official, too, that I'm working on. So more to come on the Jarrod Thomas Show podcast.